You know, it's a process we're trying to build, looking at it critically, the electoral process. Our democracy is growing by the day, and I wanted us to talk more on security because it's one place, one area Nigerians are so passionate about, to the extent that they've given some form of pass mark to Nigeria, to the security agencies in this particular election. If you say the response time was slow in trying to, you know, fix the anomaly in security at those two polling units where you got calls, how can we remedy the situation, knowing full well that, well, we have a future as a people, we have a future as a nation. There will be elections and there will be so many other activities in the country. If need be, and a man or a woman places a call for security to come to his or her aid, and we have that, you know, slow process, how can we make it so pretty fast, to the extent we can say we have a response time of, let's say, some couple of seconds when you put a call across to the security?
Well, it will be ironical if we try to isolate the political process from the Nigerian state.
Oh, you think it's all?
It's a natural flow over. I mean, the political process took place within Nigeria, so the security challenges we've been having in the past must also be captured within the political framework, and that is what played out. I have always maintained that if we want to move, we must move on all segments, not isolating one segment. Of course, you know that the Nigeria police is grossly underfunded. You don't need anybody to tell you that. The issue of training and retraining of officers must be taken seriously. I mean, where else in the world do you see politicians empowering vandals? You go to motor parks, you give them money, you give them millions of naira. Where else, where in the world have you ever heard about this kind of development? You empower people in an attempt to win an election. Where else, I mean, have you ever seen gone to any part of the world where you see people collecting money from vehicles on the highway? If you have any reason to go to the airport around 5 or 6 in the morning, you will be shocked if you are driving through Oshodi. You see like 3 or 4 buses blocking the road. You have to wait, because these days when you horn, when you go drive through, you find out you are this. This is a generation of Nigerians that should be, if it's possible, deported, because they are not prepared to learn. And then, do you blame them? Because there is no sanction. With all the beautiful work that was done in Oshodi, is there any reason why the state government should not mark Oshodi? Is there any reason why this should not be marked? So that if you park here, we pick your vehicle, we crush it. In some communities in UK, they crush vehicles for insurance offenses. You must be radical minded, you must be prepared to protect the weak. The essence of governance is protection of the weak, the poor. These are the people that you're protecting. Not the Dangotes, the Femi. No. The essence of government is to protect those that are very weak. So when you come into a situation, you find out that the weak, they are so exposed, very vulnerable. You see mad people moving around in the streets of Lagos. Is it me that will go and rehabilitate them? The first responsibility of any government is to those that are mentally challenged. There is no justification why you'll be moving around in Nigeria. You'll be seeing mad people moving around. Some of these things are elementary psychiatric issues. If you subject them to psychiatric treatment, you find out that they will recover. All you need to do is to monitor them. I'm not saying the government is not doing enough, but we are not doing the basic things.
No. Moving forward very quickly here, how can we sort this out? Knowing now we already have looked at security, we've already looked at the process where people have tried to monetize politics in the country, and you say it's alarming because it doesn't seem that is as if it's going away because of the category of persons who would come about with such demands. How can we remedy the situation so that as we move on, especially towards 2019, we can start to de-emphasize on money and in politics, and also brace up in our security apparatus?
Well, there must be enforcement. For you to roll through some of these ideas, you must have an effective security network. If, for instance, like I have told you about these demands, you go and mount your giant billboard at Oshodi. If you fail to talk to them as you are leaving, the billboard lives with you. If you go among one at Celeb bus stop, as you are leaving, the billboard lives with you. In fact, most times in some of these places, you keep sending people to go and check your billboards. So there are pockets of government existing all over Lagos. And I'm sure these things are still captured in some other jurisdictions. They're everywhere. So how do we deal with that? You have to have an effective sanction system.
Do we lack that? Because it would seem that we don't have any problem. Because
not lack. When you say lack, it's a cosmetic coloration. We don't have it.
Because there was a time we were on the sticker boys. You're talking now about people who come, harass you, bring down your billboards. We had people we termed sticker boys. You're traveling across maybe from one state to the other. I'm sure you must have encountered them. They stop you and they take money from you. We beamed our searchlight on those states, and the governments in turn came out to deny them. But it shouldn't stop at mere denials. And you're saying that we must have a system that really will go the whole hog and get them out of our streets. These are outlaws. How can we get outlaws out of our system?
Well, you see, you're a lawyer. I have just maintained, first and foremost.
So if you had made it to the assembly,
yes,
what would you be saying concerning those issues?
No. I have a very comprehensive social contract, which I intended pursuing. The problem we have is that you have to look at some of the way our security agencies operate. In some other jurisdictions, in some of these places I've just mentioned, you find out that these touts and the security agencies within the area, because they are very familiar with themselves, they act in concert. And when you talk to them, you find out that there are some measure of relationship existing, some kind of symbiotic relationship existing between, which shouldn't be. And that is why we believe, for instance, that all the police people serving in Lagos State should be transferred out of Lagos. The government, General Eisenhower, when he was in the military, as a soldier, he served at 7 military formations across the United States. So why should a police officer come to Lagos and stay 15 years, 10 years? An army man will come here and stay for 12 years. What are they doing? You must recycle some of these people. You must move them from one place, because they, as soon as they start staying at a particular location, it becomes an impediment to an effective dispensation of justice. There is no sanction. People do some of these things without sanction because they know there is no sanction system. And that is the greatest incentive to crime. The greatest, number one incentive to crime is that people know that when they do something wrong, nobody gets to punish them. And you don't need me to tell you that there are some people who are bigger than the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There are people you cannot take to court in Nigeria. There are people, is it today, the turnaround maintenance in Kaduna refinery? How many times have you read about the turnaround maintenance?
Sorry, you can't take them to
There are traditional issues, there are traditional institutions you cannot just confront.
Mr. Onko, you can't take them to court. Is it because there are no laws, or there's no implementation of those laws?
Some of them are too formidable. You understand what I'm saying? Within the confines of Nigeria, the platform we have are not strong enough. When Obama came to Kenya, he was emphasizing, if you want to have practiced democracy, you must reinforce democratic structures. You understand what I mean? You have to reinforce democracy. You enforce it to such an extent that if the commissioner of police in Rivers State or in Lagos State runs into a problem, he shouldn't call Abuja. He shouldn't wait for Abuja to tell him or her what to do.
Well,
there must be some measure of independence in terms of operational logistics and reasoning.
In closing, just do this for us in 40 seconds. What would you love to see from INEC in subsequent elections?
Well, I want to see an INEC that has an effective control over the security agencies for the purpose of the election. And I want to see an INEC that is open to criticism, not an INEC that repels criticisms and is not ready to listen to people with legitimate complaints.
With your experience, would you love to try once again?
Well, this is just the beginning of our president is 72. I'm some centuries away from 72. The battle is just beginning. I definitely will go back into the field and continue with my line of argument. I believe I have an ideological platform that is very attractive to the youths, and I'll market it again if I have given the option.
Well, Richard Nwankwo, wishing you well in your future endeavor in politics and others. Many thanks for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much.
For the moment here, we'll return shortly. Stay with us.